All right, what's up, everybody? We've got our stream pretty much set up here.
Yeah, technical difficulties ironed out, hopefully.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. We posted a link to our Steam page and our itch.io page in the chat, so if you want to check out the game that we'll be playing, there's a free demo available on both of those.
Yeah, the one there in itch.io, you can play for free in your browser. You don't have to download it or anything. So if you want to just try it out and see if you like it, that's a great place to do so. Today we're going to be hunting for high scores. So let's get this going here.
Yeah. How long has our demo been out? Like almost a month now, yeah?
Yeah, close to. I want to say like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so since putting the demo out, we've seen a couple of scores popping up onto the leaderboards, but recently over the last week, somebody beat James's high scores here, so he's coming in to reclaim his title.
Let's see. Just looking at it, I feel like I'm not capturing this. My screen capture here is not working, I think.
Oh, interesting, yeah. Weird. Yeah, see, we thought we ironed out all things, but I guess not. Well, you can see our lovely logo in our game editor.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe if I full screen it, let's see what happens.
For anyone who's curious, we're using GameMaker Studio. So that's the editor that you're looking at. Is GameMaker Studio is a game making engine, and it's pretty cool. It's very beginner friendly. We've been using it for a long time now, but it was brand new to us when we started, so it got us going making games, and yeah, it's really more geared for 2D games, but they do have some 3D functionality in it as well. But if you are interested in making games, go ahead and give GameMaker a try. They're pretty cool. We're not sponsored by them or anything either, so we just have enjoyed using GameMaker for the past couple of years.
There we go.
Actually, we've had it for
got a little bug
8 years or something now, huh?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right. Okay, is that coming through on your end?
Let's see. Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool.
We're
all right. Yeah, I had a little bug here. Where it wasn't showing the game for some reason.
What was the issue? What did you change?
I just had to refresh the capture here in the properties.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, looks like it's visible now, so yeah. So anyway, in this game, the goal is to get the highest score you can in any given level. So you can see here's the high scores. Ambo here is top score. Fabled Forge Games, that's us, that's number 2. And today we're going to go through some of these levels and see if we can get our score a little better. I think we're number 1 in Solarium.
We did that last night. We were high score. We were trying to beat Ambo last night, but as you can see, we're pretty unsuccessful. He had some pretty good runs.
And in Distillery here, his score is way above ours. So we're going to start, I think, by doing some run-throughs of Distillery and just kind of trying to find our best route through the level.
Shout out to Ash Mazing and Apple as well for getting up there on the leaderboards. You guys beat my score. My score is Coda there.
So I'm not going for high score right this moment. I kind of just want to... I'm going to do like a leisurely stroll through this level and kind of figure out what the best route is here. I'm starting low, so I'm kind of trying to take all the low paths. And I just sort of want to see what I think might be my best option. So there we go, 2941's not bad, but now we're going to kind of go high, take a look at the high end of the level, and just see what we've got. I just kind of want to know which path has the most power-ups, which path has like maybe the least wall jumping. Oops.
Ooh, all the way down. Yeah, as you can probably tell, just because the game auto runs for you, and you have a little less control, so you got to get pretty creative when you're exploring these levels. Just because you can't choose to walk backwards or anything like that. You have to initiate a wall jump, or you have to fall in a certain spot, or...
That's what I was gonna say. If you need to backtrack at all, you know, wall jumps and things like that are really the only tool you have, so...
So yeah, exploring is still possible in this game, but it's a little bit different than any other types of games.
Yeah, a little planning goes a long way. So okay, I kind of think I want to go high at first and then sort of mid to low towards the end. I think that's going to be my best bet here.
Right, there's a couple wall jumps that take some time on that higher route.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially if you go low, then you have to gain a lot of height towards the end. So if we kind of get to the height we want early here, then we can sort of transition to the middle route, like so. Oops. That was a little lower than I wanted to go, but I think we might still be okay if I don't flail all over the place.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. You got there pretty quick.
Let's see, it looks like our personal best is 2106, and we're looking for 1750. So if anyone's wondering, the reason there's like a slight discrepancy here between our personal best and our score on the leaderboard, we erased my local files to do some of these streams. So the personal best shows my local high score, and the leaderboard shows my high score on the server. So that's why there's a slight discrepancy there. Oops.
Just to point out something interesting too, you'll notice that the counter up there is counting up to 60 before the second marker turns over, and the last two numbers there are actually frames in game rather than milliseconds.
Yeah, the game runs at 60 FPS,
so every second will be 60 frames, and you can kind of see it turning over at 60 there. So that's how the timer in this game works, and that's how the high scores will be logged.
I do a wall jump off that every time. I think I need to dash slightly earlier, yeah.
Yeah, so we were talking about exploring earlier. Exploring is one thing, and then as far as getting a high score and getting through the level as quick as possible, moving fast will, not performing as few wall jumps as possible will get you through the level faster, because every wall jump puts you going backwards a little bit. And if you can stay moving forward, that's your best bet.
And there's, especially in this level, there's definitely some wall jumps that are like unavoidable. So we're not looking to get 0 wall jumps, we're just looking to get as few as possible. I think I'm too high, yeah.
That's not bad.
It's okay, yeah. It's our first 21-second run tonight.
Yeah.
As with speedrunning, you just you keep doing it till you sort of build the muscle memory, I'm hoping the the longer we play tonight, the better my runs will start getting, but as always, I start off a little bit rusty.
Yeah, we played for almost an hour and a half last night, and we were only able to beat one of the high scores that we were hoping to beat. So, yeah, like James is saying, that was pretty good. New
Nice.
Personal best. Looks
Kinda,
all shiny. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're getting there. That means we're dialing it in. But yeah, we you're right, we did about an hour and a half of runs last night, and we only managed to beat one of Ambo's high scores, so that may be the case tonight too. His high scores are pretty formidable.
Yeah.
Especially on this level.
Yeah, we were getting pretty close in the first level, but we still didn't quite beat it. But yeah, this level was looking pretty formidable, so we decided to take a whack at this one first.
Yeah, see if we can at least get it closer to the top score. I don't know if we'll get there or not, but I keep missing that one. Ideally, I would miss that glue there too. Yeah, when I first built these levels, I played them a lot, in the testing process, but we've been building a ton of levels lately, so I've been playing all our new levels, so I'm kind of out of practice on these ones because they were built a little while back. Just to make excuses for my my poor gameplay.
No, I mean, that's the fun of a game, right? It's kind of this balance of, of something challenging, and if it was too easy, it also wouldn't be fun, it has to be challenging as well. So, like the goop there that he's trying to avoid, it's one of the unique mechanics we decided to add. Oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
just to add that little bit of challenge, in a game that runs fast, something that slows you down is, part of the fun, weirdly.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, this game doesn't have any death state. In a game like Mario or something like that, you can get hit by an enemy, you can fall in a pit, lose a life. There's no way to die in this game, so all of our hazards don't kill you, they slow you down.
Yeah, as you can see, there's no such thing as a bottomless pit. You can fall down into something, but it won't force you to restart the level. It'll just eat away at your time. Especially if you're trying to speed around and get a good score.
I was doing pretty good there till I wall bonked. I think I was anyway.
Yeah, seemed pretty good.
Not that time though. Got to get in some bad ones to offset the good ones.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, the wall bonk is you know, it's another mechanic that we added to kind of add the risk and reward kind of gameplay, you know. If you dash a lot, you get rewarded with moving faster and getting better times, but the risk is you dash too close to a wall and you bonk it. You have to fall and land on the floor and get up from that, which all eats away at your time, so...
Right.
It's kind of a game design principle that that we use in this game to, you know, to give the player some challenge, you know.
Yeah, there's also some cool techniques you can do with the wall jump. You know, if you slam into a wall, obviously your character kind of bonks and gets dizzy, but I was going to show it there, but I fell. But
nice.
If you, we'll show it right here. If you cut off your dash early, you can avoid bonking, see? So if you cut off your dash a little early, you can do like a one-sided wall jump, and that can get you into some pretty cool spots. You know, that might be pretty lucrative in other spots of this game. So if you play it yourself, look out for places to use that.
Yeah, there's definitely times just in normal gameplay where you kind of miss a jump and you're up against a wall, but then you can kind of use some certain techniques like that to get yourself back on track without losing too much time, you know?
Kind of get out of a bind.
Because the game runs for you too. If you start falling down into a path you didn't really intend, you can kind of jank your way back up to where you were intending to be without having to restart the level or whatever.
Yeah, we've actually seen a couple of streamers play the game and have a little trouble understanding like the wall jumps and stuff, so in the final game we'll probably make the tutorial a little bit more clear to make sure people don't get stuck in places they can get out of. Oops, I keep overshooting that.
Definitely getting better scores than you were a few minutes ago, though.
Yeah. When I actually complete the level, I think I'm also failing to complete it more too, whatever that means.
Right. There's definitely a ramp in difficulty, you know. There's a lot less obstacles in that first level. It's,
yeah,
you know, obviously that's what we intended making these levels, but there's a lot more pitfalls that you can fall into, and there's a lot more kind of narrow dashes you have to make in this level, giving you some challenges that you have to work through to even get on track for a good run.
This level is also quite a bit more vertical than the first level. The path through the first level is fairly straightforward, not quite as much in this level. It's definitely got a lot more ups and downs. I'm gonna have to look at the leaderboard again next time I finished. I'm curious what my previous best score was.
It was like 19 something, obviously.
That's what I was thinking too.
You know, it's a pretty broad description of that last score, but you're getting close to 19, but oh hey, you might have beat that last score.
I think I might have. Let's see. Yeah, 1913. Now we just gotta get it down by a full, 2 seconds?
Man. Can I give it a try?
Yeah, sure. Feel free.
Just watching your run, I was like, I wonder. I can't do better. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not gonna do better, but I just want to try.
I don't know. I seem to be struggling,
Perfect.
so we'll see.
That's what I wanted to do.
Good.
Again. We're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say anything. It took me how many tries to even score when I was first sort of figuring it out?
Yeah. I don't know how he got 17, man. It's pretty wild.
He might have a better route than me. I'm wondering if I should do a little more exploration for like a route.
Right. Oh, didn't want to do that. Up. Perfect.
Yeah, 17 is a pretty impressive score.
Pretty beast, yeah. Yes, I wonder. I don't know. It's just hard to say. I was gonna say, I wonder if going high like that would be lucrative, you know? Oops.
Well, the only downside to it is towards the end, there's an area where you have to fall quite a ways. And
gotcha.
if you're too high, you hit that wall and kind of slide down it. So I think being too high is going to make you have to do a wall slide, which will slow you down, right?
Right.
That's the reason I'm kind of going mid-level at the end. But
That's right.
if you find a better path than me, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Nice, that was pretty clean. The constant curse. If you comment on how you're doing, you start failing.
Well, and I even felt it. I was like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Oh! Not so good. Yeah. I know this isn't it, but we're just gonna move forward, see if I can figure out what I'm gonna do over here. Well, not that. Perfect.
Well, we might as well enjoy these high scores while we can, because I'm most likely going to delete my file again to do. Let's see, what's our stream schedule? So tonight we're doing some high score hunting. Tomorrow, I think we're going to do kind of like a playthrough stream. We're going to answer some questions and, just show everyone, what the game has to offer, answer questions people have, that kind of thing. And then on Sunday, we're going to do a spoiler stream where we show some of the later levels that aren't included in the demo, so you can kind of get a glimpse of what the full game might look like.
I'm gonna hand this back to you in a second. I'm just doing fantastic, and I don't want to embarrass you. Yeah, here. Jump right in. All right. Controller's back in James's hand. You can probably tell immediately by the quality of the run.
Not really. I mean,
You're doing pretty good this time. Oh, no, you failed.
Oh, we'll turn this into an exploration. See, this is the part, I think, well, yeah. If you, bump up against that wall when you make that jump, it's definitely going to shave some time.
Right. And this time you're going pretty slow, but usually when you get to that part right there, you're moving pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
I mean, I still don't know what the best route is. Clearly,
clearly there is a better route.
It seems like, right?
Dash Flashed right over that goop. That's pretty nice. Ooh, 20 even.
20 even. 1913 is my best score though, so that wasn't even that good.
It's funny how it is at the speedrunning level. It's like these tiny little movements help. Every frame matters. I was gonna say millisecond, but we're in frames right now. But every frame of gameplay matters. Every little bump
wall
is
bump or
catastrophic for
anything, yeah.
your run. But if you're new to speedrunning, this is probably a pretty good beginner-friendly game for that. A lot of games have you speedrun the game from start to finish, and you're talking about several levels across several worlds, and you're trying to do them all together perfectly. These levels are pretty short, and then they're also just one-button controls, so...
Yeah, it's pretty forgiving, just in the fact that you don't have to redo so much when you fail.
When you're speedrunning a lot, honestly, that countdown is the biggest drag. You can restart the level pretty quickly, but waiting for that countdown is we talked about getting rid of that, making like a speedrunning mode for people who are doing this, and
we may
cutting that
final
timer
thing
out. Yeah, we may do something like that in the full version.
Let's see. I'm not sure, but I think the game music might have been kind of loud. So hopefully it's slightly easier to hear us now. Oops, overshot that a little bit. Yeah, and I think, like I was saying earlier, there's some definitely some unavoidable wall hopping in this level. So I'm wondering if I can maybe cut my time down by doing wall hopping in different places than I'm doing,
Right. That's pretty good.
Oops.
that would have been pretty good. You were
yeah.
there sometime around 19.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
So for this run, I think that's close to ideal. I don't know. I'm wondering though, I feel like there's got to be maybe a more, like maybe missing that one power-up is worth, watch, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Oh, where you jump back all the way to get the power
that far
behind
jump,
you.
I think might be, oops, I didn't mean to go there. But yeah, that might be killing a lot of time. This one right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to try skipping that and see if it helps at all.
Yeah, early on when we were developing the game, we would have debates on like, is it worth getting more power-ups and sacrificing jumping back to get a higher speed? Is that going to amount over time to making you move through the level faster? But
it seems to kind of depend, I feel like there's some levels where, like, the later on the power-up is, the less it adds to your overall score because, the speed increase doesn't add up over time, but these early power-ups are kind of vital because they affect, like, they cascade through the whole run, sort of.
Right.
When you start off fast, that speed applies to, like, the entire run. Maybe I'll
double jump and get right over the power-up.
I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll maybe take the same route, but I just won't jump as far back,
Makes sense.
Sorry, that run's already all over the place.
Already tostada.
Yep. And then some of those I need to be jumping later so that I'm like more aligned. Oops. It's such muscle memory.
It's ingrained in you.
Yeah. Got to break the muscle memory and do something different. Yeah, that one I need to jump a little later so I don't fall in the hole there. Maybe something like that. I mean, there was a lot of spaghetti towards the end there, but let's give it a few more good tries before we decide if this is the route we want to try. Whoops.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions or even suggestions, you know, we have the demo out on Steam and Itch, and but the game is in active development right now, so we'd love to hear feedback from anybody. If there's anything you want to see or anything like that.
Yeah, questions, comments, concerns, anything.
Or if you just want to bash James's gameplay like I like to do.
Which is
I enjoy doing
probably
that.
A pretty good idea right about now. Because, yeah.
It's okay. He likes the abuse, I promise. It almost looked like you jumped in the air there.
Weird. Really? Like
it's hard to say.
time?
You were moving so fast. That might have been what it was, actually.
Yeah, so if anyone's never heard the term coyote time before, in platformer games, you know, players tend to jump a little too late going off edges. You know, if you're trying to get like a last minute jump right on a ledge, it's pretty easy to just press the button a little too late and miss. So what coyote time does is it gives you a few frames after you fall off an edge to still get a jump. So right there you can see, let's see if I can demonstrate it again. Right here, you can see I kind of pressed the jump button right after I went off the edge and it still sort of counted it. So coyote time is just like a little bit of forgiveness if you just press the button slightly too late. You know, just in terms of fun, it really doesn't feel fun if you think you press the button on time and and it doesn't work, you know. There's some other techniques like there's something called jump buffering, where if you press the button right before you're on the ground and expect to jump, the game can like eat the input. What jump buffering can do is just kind of cue that button press up, so when you hit the ground you'll still jump, and it's kind of the opposite of coyote time, you know. It accounts for a little bit of an early press. So, you know, all of the platformers we make, we try and have little mechanics like that just to make it feel like the player is doing what they want to do, you know.
And it's funny because something like that, you would, you know, games that implement these types of techniques, you know, they feel more responsive to your controls, when in all actuality we're
cheating on behalf of the player a little bit.
It's exactly. It's not directly responsive to your exact inputs. It's kind of trying to account for a human playing the game, where they might push the button a little late or a little early, but in your head you're thinking, I'm sure I pushed the jump button. Why did I just fall off that ledge? Like, you know. So it's really under the category of responsive controls, but we're really trying to, you know, account for mistakes a little bit.
I'm wondering if maybe getting that will help, that early.
Maybe.
But it's going to put me off that top path there is the only problem. But
you might
maybe
have to
it's
do a
worth it.
wall jump later to get higher up.
Let's try it and see what happens. I mean, there is a lot of power-ups here. Well, no, actually.
About the same.
About the same, yeah, you're right.
into the goop with you.
Let me try both. I'm going to go slow just so I can make sure I get all the power-ups I want and just count. Well, I don't have to count. You'll notice at the top left, underneath the speed there, that number is how many total power-ups you've collected. So when we get to this point, we're at 6 if we went the upper way. So let's try the lower way and see what we get.
A beautiful score.
Oops. It's also a pretty tight fit there when you're falling.
Right.
Oops.
Yeah, what is that, like 2 tiles?
Yeah, it's 2. Oh, I could get that one too. Let me try. So yeah, we'll go through here and then immediate jump. There we go. Although it did require me to do a wall jump.
Yeah, you couldn't jump high enough to just get out of there.
Well, this route definitely gives me more power-ups, but I do feel like there's more wall jumping involved. I'm not sure which one's better. But yeah, I had 10 power-ups at the end there. Although only the first like 8 or so really matter.
Right.
Because once your speed meter there gets full, you really can't go faster than that. But let's try this route. Maybe you can get the speed meter, well, maybe if we get the speed meter full early enough. Yeah, another thing to consider is
that looked pretty good, but
it's quite a bit slower.
Yeah.
Another thing to consider is I was getting some of those power-ups at the end there, and I might not need to. So I might be able to platform through those areas a little quicker because
since that speed is only gonna help you out for the last like 3-5 seconds of the run or whatever.
Well, I already had full speed, so
I see.
Like, you know, any power-ups beyond that just might not matter. Either way, we're still quite a bit slower than 1750. So I feel like this route has got to be, you know, there's got to be a better route or something, right?
Yeah. Man, what I'd give to see that run.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Maybe one of those lower paths too.
Yeah, even for falling all the way down, that was still, you know, not half bad.
Oops. I have a hard time threading the needle on that particular jump.
That was nice.
All right, we're just gonna go now. Okay, see, now I've got full speed, so there's no sense. Well, 22. I don't know.
There's a couple mistakes in there.
There was a couple mistakes, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how much time it would shave off, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of backtracking on this lower route because I have to do some wall jumps to get out of some areas, you know.
There's like at least 2 kind of corridors you had to jump up through.
Yeah, like right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I missed it, but I think I had to
get up there.
Yeah. Maybe we'll try the highest route here. See, but I hit that wall and slide down.
Right.
So maybe that's the one to miss. I just run off that edge rather than jump.
Right.
Yeah, in the first level, we were kind of finding that like these long dashes were doing a lot for us in terms of, just just progressing our time savings. But it's really hard to do long dashes in this level because all the platforms are so short. Yeah.
Well, and then you're also trying to set yourself up to land in a certain spot or be able to jump and do something at a certain spot.
Right. Yeah, something like that, only good, is what I'm thinking.
Well, just do it good.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Anytime.
Oh.
I know. It's funny, you make it look so easy when I gave it a try. I was like, I see what I would want to do. Let me just try to do that. And, yeah, it looks easy, but it ain't that easy.
Let's try that.
That looks pretty good, yeah. Here you go. You landed in the goop those 2 times, but
yeah, it was a decent score.
It was a decent score.
I think let's
that.
try something like that. I missed that upgrade too. And the glue is kind of hard to avoid on some of those platforms.
Right. If that's what's tough is getting yourself. Just jump right over that power up. Why don't you?
I keep missing that one in particular. That one's like my kryptonite for some reason. See, I think
nice. That was good.
And then I think on that last bit, if I save my dash till I get lower.
There was like the first time you went that up, or one of the first times you went there, you dashed right over the goop there rather than landing in it.
Yeah.
But it's so far below you, it's hard to tell. That was good. That was bad.
Really bad. Oops. Yeah, let's just restart that. Yeah, but that bit right there, I think I've just got to dash after I've fallen a little bit,
It's funny, it's always intimidating, kind of like changing your strategy once you found one, because there's some growing pains to it, but...
See, like that, basically.
Yeah, that looks like viable, kinda.
Let's keep trying. I mean, I'm making a lot of mistakes in the process, so if I can smooth some of those mistakes over,
right,
I think it could be a good path.
Nice. Yeah, there's that other tube that you did it this time. Ooh. Just kidding. Oh. Yeah. Still a good score though.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
well, kinda.
Yeah, I know. What was it? 17 is his score.
It's like I think it's like 1756. So it's a little closer to 18. It's high end of 17. Yeah. But again, that's still like a full second faster than me.
Right. And again, these are frames, not milliseconds. So 56 is 6 frames less than 4 frames less than a second.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Oh, yeah, 50, so
1750, so
10 frames less than 18.
Yeah, so he's a second and 23
frames.
23 frames. That's still a pretty wide gap.
That is a huge gap. Yeah. Well, good luck.
Thanks.
We did get him in Solarium though. It's that dang goop.
It is.
Who put that there?
I know. Who designed this level?
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Right. Yeah, I've gotten over that goop a couple times. You have
Like
to
all
just
flawlessly, yeah.
yeah. I just can't replicate it, but yeah, basically like that. And then that dash I would have to cut short so I land right on that ledge, right?
So you can jump again and
Yeah.
jump right over that goop.
What happened earlier, the reason I failed like several times in a row is because I was cutting my dash too short and not smashing through the tube.
And then you just kind of slide down against it and
Yeah, exactly.
fall into the abyss.
So it's pretty finicky. You know, I have to dash hard enough to hit the tube. But, that was a good one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I have to
Still,
dash
though,
far
I
enough
mean-
to get through the tube and stop early enough to not land in the goop. So
I don't know how he did that. Yeah, even though that run was looking pretty good, the timer was at 18 seconds.
so I was already
You were still
I was already slower than him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
I still might not be on the right track in terms of
Right?
route.
He may have easily taken a different route. It's really hard to say.
I got distracted by my own brain there and just took a
Yeah,
totally
someone's
different
like
path.
blabbing over here, distracting you.
Yeah, me. I'm blabbing and distracting me.
Yeah, it's funny how different the strategies are between levels, you know? Like you were
Yeah.
saying in the first level, and again, it's the easiest level. There's a lot less going on, but doing these long dashes and little short hops and was a lot easier to execute. Now, a long dash can push you into the goop or do this and that. You really have to think about what kind of jump and what kind of dash you're gonna do.
Yeah. And if you're watching this and thinking like, man, that looks hard, don't be intimidated by the difficulty because we're making it hard by trying to beat the high score. Just playing and beating the level is a lot easier than I'm making it look. So if you want to give it a try for yourself, I'd recommend it. It's really not as hard as I'm making it look. And I know I'm making it look pretty hard.
And conversely, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I could do that, I could do better than that,
Give it a try. I'd love to see more people on the
I would love to
leaderboard.
see several people beat our scores. You know, there's only one person doing better than us right now, and we're like, yeah, we might be able to bump our scores up a little bit. But if you guys totally knock us off the leaderboards, we're just going to throw our hands up and walk away like, all right.
I don't know. I might still keep trying.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far down the leaderboards.
No, knock him off completely.
Yeah, I dare you. Yeah, if anyone's just joining the stream, this game is free. The demo for this game is free, I should say, and it's on itch.io. You can play it in your browser, and we'd love to see you on the leaderboards. Feel free to play along and, you know, try and beat the score.
Yeah, and so the leaderboards are hosted by a website called Loot Locker. So you could play it on itch or Steam, and every source logs to the same leaderboard.
So yeah, these are like universal leaderboards. Anyone who's ever played the game is on these things. So I feel like I'm going through a slump here. I was doing a little better earlier.
I know, and now you're just terrible.
I'm just talking too much as part of it. But yeah, if you like platformers like Celeste, Meat Boy, stuff like that, even the Mario games, I think you'll like this one. We took a lot of inspiration from games like that. Some of my fondest childhood memories are playing Meat Boy with my little brother and 100%ing the game, even though it was insanely hard for us at the time.
Yeah, and then a little later playing through Celeste and getting through some of the later levels and the B-sides and some of those crazy things.
Yeah. It's in a different genre kind of because of the the speedrunning element of it, but the the general principles are sort of the same, like the running, jumping, stuff like that.
So we have 3 levels in the free demo that's available right now. But the full game is we have 19 levels that we have set to be in the full release.
So yeah, the 3 levels are really just a taste, and as the game goes on, we continually add mechanics. So each new level adds new challenges, new things to do. So it's a pretty diverse game the farther into it you get.
Nice jumps there.
That was almost a good run. Yeah, I totally feel like it's like a wave. I'll go through like a period where I get several good runs, and then my fingers get all all stiff from trying too hard, and I start getting lower scores. It's just like the constant flip-flop.
Yeah, but for anyone who does speedruns, you probably know that feeling very well.
Yep. Yeah. Like we were saying earlier, this game is pretty forgiving to speedrun because, failure only really lasts one level. You lose, maybe a minute of your time if you fail, and then you just get to try again. Unlike some of those other speedruns where, you can spend hours on a game, mess up, and then you have to start the whole thing over again. So it's nice. The levels are kind of bite-sized and easy to pick up and play. I keep missing that upper jump there.
It's a pretty tight jump there. Yeah, totally.
There we go.
It's funny you haven't been making it to the end lately, and I keep hearing that sound, and I'm like, oh, he did it. Oh, wait.
Which sound?
Just the end level sound.
Oh.
Because you've been, you've been restarting a lot. Just because your run's bad already, and then,
Yeah. Like now.
Yeah. Man, and just with 17 seconds in mind, I see the timer approach 17 seconds, and you're still like so far from the end. It's crazy.
Yeah, truly.
Ambo, you are one crazy bastard.
Might be worth thinking about a different route too, you know, because I've gotten this route pretty decent a couple times, and I'm still, I think, nowhere near that 17 seconds, right?
Right. Well, and you haven't really beat that other high score either that you set
The
earlier.
one I got on the other route.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
you're
true.
right. Maybe that slightly lower route was a bit better.
Ooh, that was close though. We're doing all right. I think I am gonna kind of do a run through here and just see. Wow, that one's got a lot of wall jumping though. Let's see, maybe this part. Maybe after this we go low. I always go for that one. Maybe I go for one of those. That bottom one would let me get two more power-ups.
Is it pretty early on?
No, it's at the end.
Yeah. Try it though. I mean,
Yeah, it would be. I'll show you. It would be like right here if I skip that first one and go for the third one, which is pretty hard to aim for, you know. But there would be like several extra power-ups on that route. See those ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of wall jumping though, so I don't think that's quite it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's just retry that. Yeah, it's hard to know what a good balance is between sort of getting early power-ups but sort of going out of your way and taking the straightest path, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a point in the run where sort of going out of your way to get stuff, you know, hurts more than helps.
Yeah, that particular path does seem like the most straightforward.
Yeah, it definitely is, but, you know, there might be some crazy tricks you can do to get some of the other paths to work better. I don't know. I do think I'm going to stick with this path for a while and just see if I can kind of perfect it, because it seemed to be getting us the best results. I think what we'll do too is before we end the stream, we'll take another shot or two at level 1, just in case there's anyone here who hasn't seen it and maybe wants to. Because we're probably going to wrap up in just a little bit here.
Yeah, when you were taking that upper route, I don't know if you ever broke 20.
I don't think so.
This
I think this route does seem better. But I was also doing consistently worse at that upper route, so...
It was a lot more challenging to get the jumps right. Yeah.
That's still a good score, 1836.
You beat your last score, and then you also passed underneath the...
Yeah, so that killed some time for sure. But I think this...
That was pretty good.
This route's got some promise, I think.
No, you just need to get good.
Yeah, now I just need to to do it. Oops. Skipping that, I think, is the right call, too. The less time spent kind of going backwards, the better, I think.
Because you have to do a full jump off that wall to get back there.
Problem is, I keep accidentally
jumping rather than dashing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that coyote time from passing through the...
It's not coyote time. It's literally me jumping off the platform.
Okay.
I'm just pressing it right as I'm passing through, and...
Gotcha. And it's getting ya.
It's getting me, yep. Bonk. Yeah, I do think this path is doing more for me, though.
Definitely.
It's getting us closer anyways. You know, when I don't do stuff like that. Yeah, those little wall jumps, too. Are just chiseling away at my time.
I know.
It's hard to know what's worth optimizing, you know? Sometimes I feel like I just gotta take a run because I'm never gonna have one where I make like 0 mistakes.
Right.
But I do feel like we're getting closer.
Definitely.
You know, unless I say something about it and psych myself out.
Pretty much. That's all it takes, man. Well, it's funny because sometimes when you're really focused, you can do really good, but I feel like sometimes these runs where you're like not as focused and you're just kind of letting the game flow, you can also do a good run in that sense. That was pretty good too. It's the second one under 19, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. So 1750, we're only we're 46 seconds above, or 46 frames above that. So we're getting much closer, but all right, let's try that again. Let's see, I'm gonna say maybe one more good run, and then we'll do a quick tour of Foundry before we stop the stream. But yeah, again, if anyone wants to play along, the game is free and playable in your browser on itch.io. There's a link there in the chat.
Yeah, and like we're saying too, or if you have Steam and want to play it on Steam, the leaderboards all connect to the same server, so it doesn't matter where you play it. Everyone's scores get logged to the same place.
I should maybe just avoid that last power up too, you know? I don't think it's going to do me that much good.
In the last second of the level.
Right.
That's true. That's very true.
I could do a longer dash there maybe.
That would probably net you more than collecting the power up and running.
Right. Yeah, I think routing this thing is all about strategy, you know, kind of finding these little optimizations you can do and strategies for how to keep your forward momentum going, you know?
Yeah, this is our game. So we're a two-person dev team. We're two brothers. I'm Michael, and James is the one playing it right now. But yeah, we're the developers of this game.
Yeah,
And
we've had some people play it and post some really good scores, so right now we're trying to put ourselves back in the running in the leaderboards there. So if it looks interesting to you and you feel like trying it out, the link there in the chat leads to the itch.io page. You can play it in browser.
Oh, thank you so much. We've put a lot of work into this game. We have quite a few games on our itch page for free, but this game, we had a lot of fun playing it and competing our scores back and forth, and we thought,
let's make it a full thing.
yeah, let's make it a full release and let's hook it up to a leaderboard and have other people compete for scores too. So yeah, thank you so much. James here is the so we originally created it for a game jam. It was back in like November last year or something like that. We did it in like 10 days. I don't think it was quite a 2-week jam, but we created the base game and the first level in like 10 days for the jam. We put it down for a little bit of time, but we've basically been working on it solid since the beginning of the year, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
So if we're June 13th right now, you know, like 6 months, 5 or 6 months we've been working on it.
Yeah, and what we have here in the demo isn't the full thing either. The full version of the game has a lot more levels, a lot more mechanics, stuff like that. The demo on itch is just the first 3 levels.
Yeah. When we do the full release, I think we'll have 19 levels, and no, we're indie developers. I think this year we hit 10 years that we've been doing it, so we have been doing it for a while, but
mostly hobby work and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hobby work. Up until kind of recently, we've both worked full-time jobs, and so we've done it on evenings and weekends, done a lot of learning on YouTube, and learned a lot just from doing it, just from creating things and spitting it out to the void, and then saying, you know what, I think we could have done this better, and the next time around we'll try that. And so that's the main way we've learned. But yeah, we just do it for fun still.
We're hoping to do it for more than fun. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. James, the one playing it right now, he's the artist behind everything, so he's he's gotten pretty good at pixel art over time. Obviously he wasn't a huge, he would do normal art on paper with pencil and stuff, but he had to kind of learn how to do pixel art. But he creates all the visuals for the games and stuff, and then I do the music and sound design. And in the early days, we thought, oh, we've got enough to make games, so we started with that. And then we both learned to code slowly over time. We thought we'd just pick up coding, spend some time learning it, and that would be that. But honestly, we spend a lot more time coding than we do doing art and music.
Yeah, that's for sure.
In the beginning, we thought we've got the pieces. We're just missing the code part. That'll be easy.
Should be easy, right? It's not too hard. We've gotten a lot better over the years.
Yeah, we're using GameMaker.
Yeah, GameMaker Studio. Yeah. It's pretty cool if you have any interest in coding. It's pretty easy to learn, in my opinion. It's best for 2D games and stuff like that. You know, if you're wanting to make something 3D, it's maybe not the best choice. It can do it, but it's a little more complicated. But yeah, for 2D games, it's fun and easy to use.
Yeah, we had no previous coding experience, and we picked up GameMaker, and there's a lot of online resources and other people using GameMaker, and they have a great Discord where you can ask questions and stuff. So
there's lots of people willing to help.
Very beginner friendly. Yes, it really helped us get going with it. Recently, I started learning some JavaScript, and it was pretty cool to have the background in GameMaker because JavaScript has a lot of similarities as far as functions and even syntax. Sometimes the coding is the same, so it's been kind of nice to learn JavaScript and be like, hey, I've used this before. I kind of know about this, you know. So GameMaker is really the only thing we've used, and I figured I had some amount of coding experience at this point, using it for 10 years or so. But I feel like I've had a bit more experience than I would have originally thought now that I'm learning a different language. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd like to learn some of the other engines, you know, Unity, Unreal, stuff like that. You know, one of these days I'll have to put in the time, but
a lot of people use Godot. I've seen a lot of people using Godot, and GameMaker Studio is really the only one we've used. But well, and then like he was saying, it's you can do 3D stuff in GameMaker, but it's really geared for 2D stuff. But someday we'd love to do something in 3D.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, this is a great 2D gaming engine. But that's really cool that you do 3D animation. What do you do the animation in? What program do you use? Because like I was just saying, we've toyed with the idea of doing something in 3D because obviously we play games a lot, and we play a lot of 3D games also. We play a lot of classic 2D games, but we also play 3D games. So we've played with the idea of stepping into that realm just to do something a little different, you know.
Okay, I've done a very small amount of work in Blender. I'm not too familiar with Maya or Motion Builder though. But yeah, there's a lot to it. I'm a very beginner when it comes to 3D art, but you know, it's a blast to create. I'd love to get deeper into it one of these days when I have a little time.
Good to know. Well, when we get off here, I'm definitely going to go check out Maya and Motion Builder. If you're looking for a good 2D pixel art program, we use Acebright. Here, let's see. I'll put a link in the chat.
Yeah, Acebright's great. It's got some pretty good animation tools, and what does it cost? I think it costs like $15 or something, but
15 or 20, let's see.
but you can also I've never tried it, but apparently you can compile it yourself if you want it for free. They offer an option to do that, so it's pretty worth it, especially if you want to get started.
Yeah, so there's the main page. I think he has it available on itch and Steam. Let me take a look here. Yeah, so it's $20. So unfortunately it's not a free program, but it is for creating pixel art. It's been a pretty cool program to use, and like James said, this has animation tools, it has tile tools, a lot of things that, you know, that are really good for 2D animation.
Let's see, I feel like my score is suffering here a little, so maybe we'll take a break and hit a different level for a bit. See if it does any better for us. Let's see where we landed though. 1836. So yeah, 46 frames behind Ambo. But Ambo's score was pretty good to begin with. Let's see. Look here. Here he's only what, 7
frames.
7 frames behind ahead of us. So let's try Foundry, and
yeah, well,
we'll do a few runs of this, and then we're probably gonna wrap up pretty soon here. But
yeah, it's pretty cool exchanging animation programs
software
with you, though. Yeah. It's always fun to try something new, you know.
Yeah, I really need to put some time into Blender and get better at it, but you know, always hard to balance that with game development and all that.
Right, there's the new stuff you want to try, there's the game projects we have currently going, there's jobs and work life, and then spending time with family, so it is hard to step into something new. Definitely. It's always hard to strike that balance, you know. It can be a lot sometimes, and sometimes you feel overwhelmed with everything. We definitely feel that a lot because, you know, it's easy to sit down and just play games or watch TV at night, but then then your projects don't move forward if you're not pushing them forward, you know. So there's always that drive to like, I'm gonna do a little work tonight because I want this project to move forward. I wanna see the end of this vision I had, you know. Or sometimes you just get a wild hair and you're like, I wanna learn something new.
So do you do your 3D art for games, or like just for fun, or what's you know, I before I did pixel art, I did a lot of 2D art, pretty much just for fun. So, you know, I'm always curious to see what puts people down that path, you know.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I haven't played the most recent Mortal Kombat. That is very cool. So you do it professionally, I take it, since you're working on such a big title.
2003. I'm still a ways off from that score.
I know. Oh man. Yeah, definitely. That's always the thing, right? Like, at this point, we've kind of learned to code, and sometimes we've thought like, well, we could always, with the coding experience we have, I bet we could get a job working for somebody or something like that. But just because we've always done it as a hobby, we've always worked for ourselves, and it's hard to step away from doing that. And so you know,
yeah, you kind of want to put the time in your own projects, you know.
And then I've always imagined that too, even all the artists and the devs and the musicians and everyone who works on these big titles, I'm sure they want to work on their own things too, you know. You see some of the art in these games and they're so inspired. You know, I'm sure these people working on these games have their own ideas and aspirations too, so
you know, a lot of indie devs I've seen kind of worked on you know, professional projects before, and you know, they kind of form a team and, you know, they just jive, I guess. I know a lot of current indie teams are formed from groups that you know, that sort of broke off from bigger companies. Like, I think you know, Yacht Club Games, the guys that make Shovel Knight, they were all part of a bigger company. Team Cherry, the guys working on Hollow Knight and Silksong, they were all, I think, part of a bigger group, you know.
And then it's definitely hard breaking into the scene and making a breakthrough game, though, without that support of the bigger company, you know. We've never really, like, had any crazy sales that'll pull us out of our day jobs, you know. We both work for we both work for family. We install glass in our hometown, and that's kind of what we do for our day jobs, you know. But we always hoped, well, maybe one of our games will take off, and maybe someday we'll be able to do this full time and stuff. But it's tough competition out there. It's really tough to make that happen for yourself too, you know. And then, like you're saying, I'm tired some days. That's exactly it. Everyone has their own lives and their things going on, and it's hard. I think you're totally right. There's been so many indie dev companies that kind of come up, and, you know, to me, sometimes they create better games. They feel more inspired, and I think the quality is really there too, you know. There's really quality games out there that you look at who developed them and their indie dev teams, and it's like,
I think some of these big companies are kind of tied down by their budget, you know. They want to make something that is going to make their money back, so they're afraid to experiment and do something new and interesting, you know. So I think indie teams innovate a lot faster than these big companies really can. Yeah, very true.
Oh man, totally. Yeah, you said it, man. You said it. But yeah, there's some really great games out there, and you know, I appreciate you hanging out with us and chatting with us, because that's the way we will make this dream work together, is by supporting other indie devs and by creating this community for ourselves that, you know, where we're all successful because we all support each other and help each other make better games too, you know.
All right, I think I'm gonna try and get one more good run in here, and then I think my skills are getting too tired for the night.
Yeah, well, you know, it was really cool chatting with you too. You're inspiring to me as well, just doing your thing. And
yeah, I always love to see people kind of trying to get into it, you know. It reminds me of when we started and we're kind of unsure and ended up just pushing through and doing it anyways, and it's become a passion for us, you know. So I definitely would encourage you to give it a try and see if you like it, you know. I find it to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, if you ever finish any projects, or if you do have any projects going that you want us to look at, I'd love to see stuff you've done on your own. And
yeah,
you know, I'll probably check out Mortal Kombat too, and not that I'll know what you did in it exactly, but I'll definitely you know, if that can support you in any small way, it's just awesome to meet other artists and other people who follow their passions and have that drive to do stuff and move forward. Those are the people that inspired us to do this, you know. And so, oh, sick. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out Mortal Kombat then, and yeah, very cool, man. How long have you been doing 3D animation? And are there other titles that you've worked on other than this? Very cool, very cool. Yeah, like I said, I think this year sometime we hit Gotham Knights. Let's see. I haven't played that game either, but I do know the game. But yeah, I think we've been doing this around 10 years too.
Oh, you did some work on Life is Strange too? Nice.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, man, those are some pretty good games under your belt.
Yeah, it seems like you got a pretty strong resume for you going there. Yeah, for us, coding was a bit of a grind to figure out, but you know, at least in the art department, you're halfway there to a game, you know. If you can do the art and stuff, you can do the code. I actually tend to see when there's coders who want to pick up art to make a game, I kind of think coders tend to have a harder time learning art than artists have a hard time learning code. So I think you're already kind of on the road by knowing art.
Yeah, a lot of times good art sells your game, you know. It's yeah, definitely.
Well, keep us posted. I'd love to. I'd love to see what you do one day.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's as good as I'm going to get there.
Nice.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do all the art, and Mikey here does all the music. So. Yeah.
So we specialize in that part, but then we do the code together because that's the bigger beast, unfortunately.
For us, yeah.
But yeah. Well, if you ever do, if you do happen to pick up Game Maker, if you ever have any questions or anything like that, well, always feel free to reach out to us somehow, and we'll work together on stuff. And if we ever start doing a 3D project, I'll definitely keep you in mind for any animation stuff we have going on.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll do. We'd love to talk to you again sometime, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, feel free to drop by and get on those leaderboards. We'd love to see you guys there. And we'll be streaming the next couple days as Steam Next Fest goes on. So probably around the same time, a little earlier maybe. But yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and you have a good one too. You guys have a good night.
All right. See you later, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.